Shabbos. Hine matov umanayim sheverachim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim sheverachim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim sheverachim gam yachad. How sweet it is, how sweet it is, together on this day. How good it is, how good it is, how sweet it is, how sweet it is, together on this day. Hine matov umanayim sheverachim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim sheverachim gam yachad. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.
My name is Rabbi Jonathan Falco. I'm joined here with,
Cantor Wally Shackett Briskin.
along with our president, Fabian Burston. And I just want to highlight the exits for us. We have one behind me here, the ones toward our left and the back, as well as the ones toward the back and the right. Please, if you see something, say something. It helps to keep all of us safe, just as a matter of policy. We invite you and remind you to silence your cell phones. There are also books in the back for children, anyone who gets antsy and likes to run around. We have some fun things to distract them with also. Also, the service will be live streamed in room 2 for those who need to leave the sanctuary for any reason. And just the fact that yesterday, having been Thanksgiving and spending time with our loved ones, it's even better for us to be here again the following next day to spend time with our loved ones here at Shul. So that being said, please take a moment to say hello to the people next to you and wish them a good Shabbos as we continue with our service. Yeah.
Shabbat Shalom.
Good
Happy
Shabbos.
Thanksgiving. Hope you all had a wonderful holiday. I know me, myself, I had Thanksgiving leftovers today, a nice turkey, cranberry, stuffing sandwich. It was nice, and hopefully you all had leftovers too. Next week, December 2nd, is our Empanada Kabbalat Shabbat. Remember, the service starts at 6:30 next week. If you're interested in joining a book club, Rabbi Pankin's book club starts November 30th at 7 o'clock in person or on Zoom. The first book they're reading is Growing Up Below Sea Level. So if you're interested, please join that book club. You can find the information on the temple website. Next Thursday, December 1st at 7 p.m. in the back at the social hall, they have Mahjong. So I know there's a lot of people who enjoy that event as well. If you saw the totem pole outside, we're still continuing our fundraising for our annual appeal. Your dues and donations go to great social action causes. Please help us so we exceed last year. We're hoping for 100% participation from our congregation. Torah study is tomorrow at 9 o'clock and also on Wednesday at 11 o'clock. And the morning minion service is being held at 10 o'clock.
And tomorrow it's exclusively on Zoom.
And on Zoom?
Oh, yep, tomorrow.
And tomorrow will just be exclusively on Zoom. Thank you. It's wonderful to be here. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Shabbos. It's now my pleasure to invite up Rachel to lead us in our blessings for the candles and Kiddush.
You can follow along on page 121 in the books that you can find under your seats.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. Light the candles first. Yes.
Do the prayer.
Okay, do the prayer.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we be our lives,
So maybe be by our lives.
by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generation of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle the light.
Nice.
This one, right?
Yep.
We'll
And then we're
continue
just-
on page 123 with our Kiddush.
that comes right there.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei puri hagafen.
Amen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehila lemikra'e kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. Amen.
Chaim.
Just want to thank Scott Edison for being our
Yeah, you got it. Thank you. Oh, you just put it right here. Did an awesome job. Thank you so much, Travis.
Just one more thing. I just want to thank Scott Edison from the Men's Club for ushering today. Thank you, Scott.
We read together at the bottom of page 127. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat, which unites us in faith and hope, for Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories, glowing even in darkness, for Shabbat peace, born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing, O God.
Page 142, we welcome the Sabbath angels. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hasharet, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech, Malachi Hamalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hasharet, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech, Malachi Hamalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ay, 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 Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech, Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem Shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech, Malachi Hamalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem Shalom, Malachi Shalom, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech, Malachi Hamalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ay, 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 Boachem Shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech, Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nil Shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech, Malachi Hamalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nil Shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech, Malachi Hamalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ay, ay, Baruch Hu Nil Shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech, Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech, Malachi Hamalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון ממלך, מלאכי המלאכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון ממלך, מלאכי המלאכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. Page 144. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
אמן.
בעלמא יברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי. בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל. בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל לשמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן מעלמה ואמרו Amen. Page 146, we invite you to rise in spirit or physically for our call to worship.
We continue together at the bottom of page 150. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, For they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Please be seated. We continue on page 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha
bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher Anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam livanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'aderech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha uv'shartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha Uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kiddoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti echem Me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem le'Elohim, ani Adonai Elohechem. We continue reading at the top of page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
Page 158.
Refreshed and renewed. Shivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom Amideinu Shomereinu Lechaim.
Save us
For the sake of your name, shield us from hatred, sorrow and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu Leshalom, Amideinu Shomereinu
Page 164 and following the even pages through 170, we join together in our tefillah, our amidah. Please rise.
Adonai sifatai tiftachu fi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, Ve'zocher Chasdei Avot ve'imachot, U'mevi Geula livnei v'neihem, Lema'an Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol atara le'Hoshia. Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem. Mechalkel chaim bechesed. Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim. Somech noflim verofei cholim. Umatir asurim. Umkayem emunato lishenei afar. Micha mocha ba'al gevurot. Umido melach. Melech memit umechayeh. Umatzmiach Yeshua. V'ne'emanata lehachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kedoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, me'el hakadosh. Please be seated. In the middle of page 176, we read together, "We acknowledge with thanks that you are Adonai, our God and the God of our ancestors forever. You are the rock of our lives and the shield of our salvation in every generation. Let us thank you and praise you for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your care, for your miracles that we experience every day, and for your wondrous deeds and favors at every time of day, evening, morning, and noon. O good one, whose mercies never end, O compassionate one, whose kindness never fails. We forever put our hope in you. And then at the bottom, for all these things, O sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai, your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Together, Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha, ulcha na'eh lehodot.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. 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 Ki ata hu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael. B'chol tehu v'chol sha'ah b'shlomecha. Baruch atah Adonai, hamarech et amo Yisrael. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. 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 Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. ratzon im refi ve'hegyon libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri
During this time of gratitude, I've been thinking about what is fair in life. What is fairness, and does it really matter? Does it even matter? Many of us are familiar with the feeling that is the pang of injustice. It can be visceral. That which is unjust is also unfair. As busy people going about our busy lives, we tend to be more dismissive and sometimes less sympathetic to that which is unfair around us. The tired cliche that life's not fair often resonates with people because so often life is unfair, and we risk getting ourselves stuck without hearing an outside perspective. We often accept life's unfairnesses as we find ways to cope in meaningful and productive ways. The same, however, cannot be said for injustice. Injustice rouses even the most fair-minded individuals to calls to action. Protests are made on their behalf, and activists show up in force because that which is unjust must be righted. But what about that which is unfair? Plenty of unfairness exists all around us, but we fail to recognize or even act on it. Why are some injustices, all of which are unfair, more tolerable than others? How is that fair? And what difference does it make anyhow? None of us want to admit that some unfairness is tolerable to us. It would make us seem unfair. But we all know that fairness has its limits, depending on the context. What happens to our feeling about fairness when the stakes are very high? Is it equally important to us when our lives are on the line? In this week's Torah portion, Toldot, there is plenty of unfairness to go around. Jacob steals Esau, his brother Esau's birthright. Laban, his uncle, deceives Jacob for his labor. Jacob ends up making amends with his brother. And at the same time, how do we feel about Jacob? He's a bit of a scoundrel, and yet he's a forefather of our tradition. We aren't very bothered by his actions here. In other words, perception of what's fair and how important fairness is changes depending on our own stake in the game. Was it fair for Jacob to steal his brother's birthright? Probably wasn't fair to Esau. But what if he hadn't stolen it at all? Where would that leave us today as Jews, descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and it wouldn't be Jacob if he hadn't tricked his father and brother? At what point do the potential risks outweigh the drive for us to be fair and act justly? If Jacob's mother had not instructed him to steal the birthright and deceive his father, the birthright would have gone to Esau as the firstborn of the two sons. Was it fair for his mother to have made that decision for him? Then again, where would we be without her having helped him in that decision? These questions are hard and challenging, in part because we don't like thinking about the fact that we are who we are today because of Jacob's misdeed. After all, Jacob becomes Israel, and we benefit from his merit to this day. How does a holy people emerge from the seed of such a troublemaker? The story of Jacob stealing Esau's birthright might overall be understood as a lesson on the limitations of fairness and the consequences therein. It wasn't fair to Esau that Jacob stole the birthright. In fact, the text itself is pretty gut-wrenching. We feel for Esau when he begs his father to bless him too, after he already loses the birthright. When Esau heard his father's words, he burst into wild and bitter sobbing and said to his father, "Bless me too, father." What could have compelled Jacob to have betrayed the tradition that his father's lineage be inherited by the firstborn? When Rebekah tells Jacob that she overhears Isaac instructing Esau to go out before giving him his innermost blessing, Jacob and his mother are at a crossroads. The moment of transmission of the tradition is at hand, and Israel's inheritance is on the line. Faced with such high stakes, Rebekah and Jacob conspire to steal the birthright by deceiving Isaac in his old age. They were both aware of the potential consequences should they have been caught, but Rebekah's response to this concern proves illuminating. When Jacob tells his mother that he would be cursed in the event his father catches him, Rebekah replies, "Your curse, my son, be upon me. Just do as I say and go fetch them for me." That is in reference to the fur that he would wear to deceive his father. When the fate of the Jewish people's seed and lineage is on the line, concern for fairness to others can sometimes take backseat to achieving success. In all or nothing cases, such as the one Jacob finds himself in, it's understandable to cast lofty principles aside, like being fair, for the sake of success at all costs, much in the way that Jacob and Rebekah colluded to steal Esau's birthright. The portion continues from there, however, as our tradition describes the perilous consequences for Jacob and his future that come about because of his scheme's success. Jacob makes off with the birthright, but he's forced to flee to his uncle's house out of fear for his life. Esau was coming for him. Jacob receives a taste of his own medicine when Laban tricks him into marrying Leah instead of Rachel, forcing him to work an extra 10 years just to secure the blessing to marry his daughter that he originally wanted to marry in the first place. And so eventually, Esau pursues Jacob with an army, and although the two reconcile, they and their families suffered in the process. And from this, we learn that there are moments in life that call for immediate action, that do not lend themselves to considerations of fairness. And in those moments, sometimes we must act, though regardless of the situation's merit or urgency, there will always be consequences. Good Shabbos.
Well, in Jacob and Esau's house, in Isaac and Rebekah's house, perhaps it was a little less than welcoming, but in this house, it all comes together in this house. In this house, it all comes together in this house. In this house, it all comes together in this house of God. In this house beats the heart of a family. In this house is the center in this house. It all comes together in this house. In this house, in this house, it all comes together in this house of God. That's a little advertisement for Beth Schaefer, the composer of this, who will be our artist in residence, our guest artist for our next Rock Shabbat, the second Friday in December. So come on out and hear some more of those gems.
Our minds now turn to those who are in need of healing. If you're thinking of anyone today who could use a refuah shleima, a complete healing of mind, of body, or of spirits, we pray for them now at this time on this Shabbos. As a community, we're thinking of Stephen Rice, Jordan Silverman, Brian Roche, Roberta Feibush, Arlene Schwartz, Harriet Domro, Barbara Roth, Ron Labovitz, Alyssa Foreman, Dina Silverman, Mort Cohen, Mel Crystal, Gail Schesser, Brian Lynn, Len Weinberg, Skylar Herman, Sid Schulman, Kerry Martuselli, Jordan Horowitz, Grayson Shukovsky, Spencer Gray Rothstein, Brody Scher, Fira Schwartz, Samuel Finkelstein, Alexander and Eugenia Litovskaya, Debbie Pincus, Joyce Welkes, Sandy Tankus, Jared Noratsky, Howard Shane, Ava Wasserman, David Cross, Mayuko Kishimoto and Waima Kishimoto, Alana Shalev, Sheila Weissler, Kathy Betts, Benjamin Nurlov, and Abe Drucker, as well as those afflicted with COVID-19. If there are any names who have not been mentioned on this list, who you may be thinking of or praying for a refuah shleima, a complete healing of mind, body, or of spirit, I invite you to share their names out loud at this time. We take all of those names said out loud and wrap them with the ones said in our hearts as we recite the Misha Berach Lacholim, our prayer for healing on page 371.
Page 586, we begin the concluding portion of our service with Aleinu. Please rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu v'neh
kol haaretz. Bayom ha'u, yeh Adonai echad. Ushemo echad. Please be seated.
Our minds now turn to those who are no longer with us. If you are here remembering someone who passed away, we invite you to rise when their name is read and to remain standing until we all rise at the end for the mourner's Kaddish. We remember the over 1,102,000 Americans who have succumbed to COVID, totaling over 6,628,000 in the world. Our community also remember those during the period of Shiva: Ron Klug, husband of Jackie Hessline Klug and father of Amy and Nikki, as well as Roberta Cohen, wife of Larry Cohen, mother of Lisa Betts, Carrie and David, mother-in-law to Robert, TJ and Rachel, and grandmother of Courtney, Kayla, and Kara. We also remember those during the 30-day period of Shiloshim: Harold Moffat and Lynn Morgan. If you are here remembering someone who has passed away in the last year, we invite you to rise at this time. As a community, on this Shabbat, we remember Teresa Amorosa, Isidore Bernstein, Faye Burshad, Rhonda Binkowitz, Ethel Block, Dora Bloom, Elaine Bornstein, Stephen Breger, Sanford Kanarick, Frank Cariello, Alan Chetkin, Leonard Chernick, Nancy Chernoff, Estelle Drucker, Ann Fetterman, Helen Fierieson, Louis Fisher, Norman Fox, Janie Goldfarb, Sidney Golick, Cecilia Gross, Marcus Hyman, Emil Hertzberger, Ulla Hesslane, Bernard Himmel, Martin Himmel, Irving Isserson, Anna Kislev, Jill Conweiser, Beatrice Krasnow, Elliot Labovitz, Leon Lafazin, David Lerner, Joy Beal.
Isaac Latofsky, James E. Mack, Jerry Memberg, Burton Nyman, Lawrence David Oken, Donald M. Passament, Hilda Pollinette, Doris Pritchep, Jim Richmond, Ellen Robbins, Hyman Rosen, Ethel Rosenbaum, Hans Michael Rosenau, Lillian Rudick, Edna Sanchez, Bernard Satkowitz, Sam Scholey, Janice Laura Seifter, Pauline Seifter, Elizabeth Shapiro, Sarah Schreiberg, Evelyn Silvert, Barbara Soren, Jeanette Stoller, Harry Tarnowski, Abraham Weinberg, Gerald Weiner, Dorothy Weintraub, Naomi Wilder, Robert Yesner, Philip Zarrow, Samuel Zimmerman. And each week we call to mind, we name individually 6 who perished in the Shoah: Jacob Rosenthal, Maya Rabinovich, Tamara Schwartz, Solomon Sherman, Abraham Flatt, Jacob Kelmer.
We take all of those names said out loud and wrap them with the ones said in our hearts as we rise together as a community to recite the Mourner's Kaddish on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divarach Yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam Ul'olmei Almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei Dekudusha Barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei Shalama Rabbah min Shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. V'imru. Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, Amen.
Oseh shalom b'imromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. be seated.
It's my pleasure to announce our temple offerings for this Friday evening. Offerings are in memory of Ron Klug, Harold Moffett, and Jeffrey Portnoy. Also, offerings are for the yard sites of Janie Goldfarb, Elliot Labovitz, Estelle Drucker, Dorothy Weintraub, Norman Fox, Donald M. Pasment, Hans Michael Rosenow, Ola Hesslein, Burton Nyman, Harry Sato, Benjamin Bruckman, Herbert Rudnick, Hilda Polanet, Irene Miller, and David Knee. Temple offerings are also in honor of the engagement of Daniela Burson and John Walton, as well as the engagement of Brooke Schwartz and Matthew Fishkin. We also pray for a complete and speedy recovery of Rebecca Hadjilukas. That being said, do we have any good news that we'd like to share with the congregation? Anyone, good news? Is this working? No? Maybe now? Hello? Yes?
Yes.
All right. Any good news?
My son,
Yeah.
some of you might know, he's from Israel, so he came Wednesday to surprise us from Israel. So it was my wife's birthday on Thanksgiving. So he came completely unknown to us, surprised us. It was really nice Thanksgiving and birthday for my wife, so it was nice.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you, Fabian. Anyone else? I'll come right down. Good news, good news. We've all just spent some time hanging out with family, eating good food. That's good news. Okay, we got some stuff over here. You want to take this?
I got accepted into college.
Hey, Mazel Tov! Congratulations, that's awesome. Do you want to share with us where you're going?
My first school was Seton Hall. I got accepted into.
Excellent, Mazel Tov. That is so cool. Good for you. The next step of your journey, huh? Very good. Anyone else? No? All right. Well, it's good news that we're all here, and it's good to be here with you all on this Shabbos, as always. That being said, we'll continue with the motzi, I believe, yes? Ta-da.
Ooh, voila, there we go. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our prayer is joyfully said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon. We join together in a closing song. Oh, say
Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'himru, amen. Oh, say shalom bimromav, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol
invite you to assume your position of comfort for blessing each other or yourself. If you have a loved one, grab them close or put your hands over your heart as we bless one another with these words. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav velecha v'chuneka.
May God's light shine upon you, and may God be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav velecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May you feel God's presence within you always, and may you find peace.
Shabbat shalom.
Good Shabbos. Good Shabbos. Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. It was lovely. So much fun. Yeah, we're dancing together. That was great.